everyone. My name is Saumya, and today I'll be presenting my project on synthetic data generation. I am currently doing my master's in computer science at NYU. I am an ML intern at Innode, creating artificial data sets using state of the art AI models. But more importantly, it's about solving real world problems around data scarcity, privacy, and cost. Let's start with the basics. Um, Synthetic data is artificially generated data that mimics real world data but isn't collected from real users or events. Instead, we generate it using algorithms or AI models. Our project, we have used different models like DALI for um, images or GPT 3.5 Turbo for text. So we have used all these different models and generated different type of data. Why is this necessary? um, it's necessary because there are so many issues around data, like data privacy. We can train models without exposing real people's information. Low resource domains areas like legal or biomedical AI often lack labeled data sets. Bias correction, we can generate balanced data sets and avoid skewed predictions. There's cost efficient because it reduces need for manual data collection and annotation. Augmentation, we if suppose you already have an existing data but it's like just 100 or 200 rows, you could just plug in that data and then create more data so that you could use it in your product further. There are privacy laws like GDPR and HIPAA, which makes real data sharing very difficult. So, synthetic data is one of the ways where you could easily share your data. The different data generators we have in this project are text generator, image, video, and audio. And in the text generator, we have the normal text generator, and you have NER extraction for labeled data sets. The basic workflow, first there's user input. The user specifies topic, quantity, and the data type. This becomes our control interface. So our prompt would usually be like generate Amazon movie reviews with 10,000 rows, and um, how many columns do you want? You would have to specify the names of the columns that you want, like you want the name, the rating, actors, etc., like that. Then I call the API. We have used Flask API gateway here in this project. Then API goes to the specific text generator module, specific data generator module that we have. So depending on the text type that you would input, like if you would input the type as image or video, it would specifically go and call that particular module. After calling that particular module, it would generate the data, and then each of them have their own personal post processing and validation steps that each of these modules carry so that you could have. And after post processing and validation, we finally get the downloadable data set. It could be in a CSV or JSON format. Um, the tools and technologies that we have used in this project is we have used Python as the language, Flask as a API as the backend, models like DALI and GPT 3.5 Turbo. The data sets that are generated, we go and save it in a database, which is the storage format is in JSON for the database. Uh, We have used Flask API in this project, and the API has a modular design like generate text, generate images, so that if you call the image generator, it would specifically go to the image generator, and it would follow that course of action, because each of these generators have their own codes and different action how to perform and generating those particular type of data. This is so that this modularity gives us a space where we could expand our image generator to something else if we want to build on top of that. It is stateless and scalable, and it is time optimized. I'd show you some examples that we have generated. So suppose we have given the prompt as generate Amazon movie reviews with columns, movie name. So this is the data that the text generator generated, and this is how we would get the data with the column names on the top and the data generated. Uh, there are different types. You could also give what type of data that you want. You could give an example, like we have specifically given that we need a unique alphanumeric ID like cust1023 here, and so you could specify what type of data that you want in a specific column, and it would generate according to what you have provided in the prompt. I've generated one more example on army data so that it could show that you could actually just make data that you want depending on your choice. There are different use cases. First would be NLP pre-training and fine-tuning. Use large amounts of synthetic data to boost performance uh, so that you could increase your data set. Chatbot training data sets. So this would be domain-specific dialogues for service bots, educational QA datasets for schools, competitive exams, or e-learning. Data augmentation. So this would enhance small datasets to improve ML models. Legal, healthcare, and financial stimulation, which help us generate realistic scenarios for training without privacy risks. Of course, there are some limitations to this as well. So first is just the generation challenge. The data could be duplicated, which could be a result of the hallucination from the model. So this is one of the issues. Bias, pre-existing model bias can leak into generated data set, which could make the data set skewed somehow. Rate limits on the API, because we are using Google's API and OpenAI's API to generate the data set. So we could have that rate limit issues. Gaps, non-text data like images still needs stronger validation pipelines. There are some work that we have thought that we could do it in the future. So currently we have the API for the generator. We are trying to deploy that API using PyPy package so that anybody could just go and install this as a package and and then generate new data sets. Other work that we could do is, suppose you already have an data set in place and you want a similar data set. So this should also give an option to learn from the data set that is already existing and then generate the data set according to the original data set that it was provided with. Uh, then we have different data sets and their scalability. So, of course, if uh, it doesn't, right now, it doesn't go up to a million records. Like if we just put in Amazon movie reviews with ratings and we put a million records, it would start hallucinating after a point. So, right now, uh, and right now we do not have a working front end, but we create a nice UI so that it would be easier for users to interact with it. In short, synthetic data generation allows us to build a better AI systems faster, cheaper, and without risking privacy. With the right validation and model choices, it can become a key part of any AI developer's toolkit. So, about. Thank you for listening. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.